All right. Good morning. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Happy hump day. Let's see. Double checking everything as we get started. We'll kick it off. Looking good. All right. So my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is April 21st, 2021. Let's go ahead and get started. SPY yesterday, putting in a bit more selling as we are still overextended on our daily. We saw obviously some warning signs on Friday with the market unable to push much higher than it currently has moved. We saw selling on Monday session, minor pullback, and ultimately not a lot of fear in the market, although we did see things like the VIX and some certain sectors facilitate the move to the downside. And then yesterday, we did see a more significant pullback. I would say overall there was a bit more selling across the board in yesterday's session, but there were a few areas of interest that were not selling and in fact strong on the session itself. So SPY is still in this sort of sector rotation mode. We are not seeing the full flush of all sectors down at one time, but yesterday was notably different than Monday due to the fact that there was a harder sell in certain areas like financials and energy. As we are sitting at these elevated levels, and since we are not yet at certain levels of support, what I often like to do is just pull up some more aggressive moving averages. So for now, just add a 9 moving average exponential. I'll change this to a color that I don't have, something like an orange. And we can see that in the past, SPY has reacted on the 9 in certain, I'll say, overextended moves. We've seen shallow pullbacks that led into larger trends to the upside. And we've also seen the 9 just sort of act as a very general area of interest, kind of keeping the trend intact before we get larger pullbacks to the 20 or the 50. So as we are very strong overall in the SPY, and as we are starting to pull back, we want to see if there's going to be smaller reactions at more aggressive support zones. And you know, the first one that stands out to me is that we are sitting on the 9 moving average exponential. We could potentially see a small up move from here as more aggressive momentum and short-term traders are using this as a signal to potentially go long on this pullback. Obviously, we'll see if any of that becomes untrue, and we'd want to see yesterday's low be lost, signaling that the 9 moving average is not an area of support, and then we'd be targeting something like the 20 and this zone of contention around 407, this balance zone in the market. I'll go ahead and take that off for now, and yeah, I'll just do this. We may look at that again on the Qs. 4-hour chart showing that selling, we're losing the 20 and the 50 on the 4-hour. We're sitting in a position where we could easily make sort of a lower high structure, as the market has found a type of double bottom in yesterday's session. So today's activity may be a bit muted, but we do have some earnings to discuss, and those could facilitate a bit more volatility as we are getting some bigger names coming out with their earnings. 30-day 1-hour volume profile. We're hitting that first shelf of significant value. You can see here that the market did pause in yesterday's session at this shelf, and we're putting in, you know, a pretty short-term range at this point. Given that the momentum is to the downside, we have to appreciate the fact that this could easily be a bear flag structure, and that could easily be facilitated by another move down. However, from the volume profile perspective, this area is a zone that we want to keep in mind, with a loss of yesterday's low, leading us once again into a low volume structure, sort of a pocket in the volume profile. And that brings us down to that 407 to 405 range, where the market has put in balance in the past. So essentially, this is that first, signpost on the way back down. We rest here. We see where the market wants to go, and what sort of power it has behind the move away from this area. Is it a short-term bounce? Is it basically the farthest this pullback will go before we make a new all-time high? Or will it be some sort of lower high and then a fade to get down to even lower prices? Regardless of which occurs, there's opportunity amidst this section of the market. So we've already gotten that first down move. Let's see where the market wants to go from here. Looking at our Qs, I'll do the same thing here. I'll just add a moving average exponential. I'll change it once again to a color that stands out a bit. Let's do dark orange. We see that the Qs are also in a similar position. They have pulled back to the 9 moving average exponential. Overall, still in an elevated stance and still looking at sort of just momentum plays to the upside. This moving average is starting to flatten. Obviously, we want to see more of a upward slant in the more aggressive moving averages and just the overall structure of the bullish trend. But as we have pulled back to this level and the Qs are significant to the SPY, we want to note that the market is in the same spot in both of these indexes, sitting at the 9, looking for potentially a small bounce. If not, a loss of yesterday's low would be a warning sign that we are heading much lower to potentially test some breakout points. Taking away our 9 on the 4-hour chart, we see that we did once again lost the 20 and the 50, similar to the SPY. They're actually about to cross in this perspective, and we are losing quite a bit of notable inflection points in the past. So the Qs are dragging down a little bit harder than the SPY overall, and certainly at risk for more downside as we are consolidating in pre-market. Obviously, there's been some earnings as well that are affecting the Qs. We'll talk about that and the level of effect that we can foresee in the next couple of sessions. Looking at the 1 hour, looking at where value sits, we're still in that elevated posture. The Q structure is that we have a lot of balance and value in this upper shelf. So this entire area is, worth mentioning in terms of a range. We can see high to low. We can easily see this low be facilitated by a retest of the high. And this structure can, basically remain in balance for a period of time. If we were to lose it, there's that pocket sitting below us. We have another shelf to get through, and this is that consolidation zone in the past. And then a larger pocket, something that you don't necessarily want to step into long, as not a lot of value has been placed here. You want to wait until something like the VA high gets tested. Excuse me. So overall, Qs, similar volume profile. I would say that the range structure is more defined in the Qs at these highs. We've simply put in enough balance to showcase that range, whereas the SPY is more about spots, price level value zones. So as we come back down, we want to hit those zones and see how the market reacts. This one is more facilitative of up and down movement, sort of consolidation overall. And finally, odd man out, IWM. Go ahead and add our 9. Go ahead and add a burnt orange. Okay. Overall, IWM structure here, posture is no longer facilitative of a lot of bullish momentum. We've seen some significant loss of levels, and we've also seen yesterday that some of that selling has broken through our structure that we had placed as a trade idea. So we had this move higher, we had the potential bull flag structure, 1 day of upside, and then a rollover. Overall, this is not a good look for IWM, as a lot of our moving averages are sitting above us. So a lot of our bullish momentum posture is acting as resistance. And when we dig into the 4-hour, we'll take off this for now. We'll see that we have the potential for some more downside, as there's a notable range and a notable support zone around 210. Given that we're moving from 220, which is our VPOC over the past couple of months, this 210 is now at risk if the market were to sell off, continue to sell off in this direction. Essentially, the 4-hour, all of our moving averages are above us. There's really nothing screaming bullish in this area. I would say overall, this could be the potential for a much larger downside move if bulls do not come in and defend some of these short-term support zones. So IWM is at risk. Overall, the posture looks much different than the SPY and the Qs. And we want to keep this in mind. If the markets continue to sell, will IWM be the most bearish index of the selling posture that we have? And looking at our volume profile, we note that 221.50 is our VPOC over the past 30 days. If I extend it out just to 3 months, we'll see that that's pretty close to the 3-month VPOC as well. And that move away that we got yesterday was a signal that we no longer want to move higher from VPOC. We're actually going to test some of the lower end ranges from value. So there's a move away from value to the downside. And this is that overall bearish structure that we're seeing. So the 30-day 1-hour, we are essentially testing this VA low. Really, I'm just looking at $5 levels at this point. 220 to 221 was lost. We came back down to test 215. And now we'll see, this is a bit extended overall. We have tested this low. We could easily see a little bit of a recovery bounce back to VPOC. And then depending on how the other markets do, this could be led by more downside, sort of that lower high structure and starting of a downtrend. So IWM posture is not looking good overall. We want to see the markets turn back up, and we want to see a rotation back into small caps for this to change. And so far, we haven't seen that yet. Let me grab some water. So I see a couple questions in chat. I'll get to those after the session. Some areas of interest for today as we get into Wednesday's session. Go ahead and bring this back to our 20 5200. Volatility is coming down a bit today. We did see a small spike during the past two sessions. Nothing really of concern when it comes to a collapse of volatility, and overall looking to be more of an inside day, especially if the market puts in more of a consolidation range. So volatility taking a break from some of the spikes that it had earlier this week. The dollar putting in a small bounce. Overall, we've seen a lot of selling in the dollar, and it's just simply putting in a back test of a previous support zone. So ultimately, downside momentum appears to be the thesis in the dollar, and we can see that pretty clearly on the weekly with a major rejection near the 50, a lot of downside, and we're coming back to the 20 on the weekly along with some area of support. So we'll kind of see, the dollar could take a break, the VIX could take a break. Today could be a pretty muted session across the board for some of these indicators that we're using. Crude, notable selling in yesterday's session with a lot of weakness in energy overall, one of our weakest sectors. We did clear this range on this breakout, so very notable bullish break, but not a lot of follow through. And we're actually coming back into the range with today's price action. We'll want to see if crude is simply consolidating at a slightly higher level, or if it's going to come all the way back down to the mid-level range where it broke out from. So crude posture probably still looking for potential upside given the bullish break from the range, but the momentum is simply not there. We haven't consolidated long enough to facilitate a breakout with a lot of momentum trend. And similar idea with natural gas, getting off of this 200, but starting to pull back slightly, potentially with the overall market. So energy remains on watch. It was weak yesterday. We want to see, is that going to change today, or is it just going to continue to be one of our weakest sectors overall? Posture in gold, breaking through this lower range. We're seeing a lot of dips starting to be bought in gold as we're starting to break out and change the overall trend in the market of gold. I'll show a couple of minor stocks as well, really confirming some of that trend change analysis and the fact that we are starting to shift who's in control in these markets. And then silver, still kind of trapped between the 20 and the 50. But seeing some of that upside momentum similar to gold. Obviously, we want to clear one of the most recent lower highs, and that would be a nice signal that not only have we gotten out of this lower range congestion, but we're actively putting in a higher high for one of the first times in a while. You can see that on the weekly. That structure just looks like sort of a bounce. At this point, we want to clear some of the ranges that we put in the past. So those are our overall items that we like to always keep on watch. Let's look at some things that we don't necessarily watch every single day, but are still putting in some opportunity. So here I have some futures for us to review. I'm actually going to sort by performance. And let's see, what order do I want to start in? We've looked at energy. Energy starting off weak this morning. We've looked at natural gas, same with energy. One that I'm keeping on watch is platinum. Platinum is putting in a tight consolidation over time. It's getting to the point where the range is compressed to an area that is likely to break in one direction or another. And so far on the daily and on the weekly, the trend is to the upside. So, if history repeats itself, the break here should be bullish. And if that upside momentum does break, we'll want to be in a position to take advantage of something like platinum breaking on the futures. Let's see. I lost my my notes on this. I'll have to get that back in just a second. Well, I'll just mention platinum here. There are a few stocks that I've been looking at for platinum plays. I had some notes, but those have disappeared for some reason. So I will pull that up after the session and post it in the chat. Bonds, ZB and ZM, we're still seeing some movement off the lows, and I like to look at TLT as just a reflection of that move. So TLT had that significant gap up. Gotten some information about what caused that gap up. I'll be looking to explain some of that in next week's session. And then an overall hold of this lower range. We're coming back to test the high of the range, and we're seeing more bullish upside in TLT. So as bonds are at this buy zone, we want to see, will bonds continue to grind higher, potentially back testing something like the 20 on the weekly. Obviously, if you've been part of these sessions, you'll know that I've been looking at bonds as sort of a reversal structure here, and that's starting to show itself with the volume increasing, showing a lot of interest in this area. We've talked about gold. We've talked about silver. So one of the last ones that I'd like to look at, lumber. Lumber has been very, very, very strong over the past couple of weeks. In fact, it's almost to the point of calling it parabolic. If you've done any sort of home project or simply looked to buy lumber in the past month or so, you've noticed that the price has been increasing almost exponentially. And that can be seen in something like lumber futures. So I have LBS here, which is the random length lumber futures. And we've seen this strong move to the upside. What's interesting and why I bring it up is that this part of the move is facilitative of either momentum or just getting in and sort of riding that wave structure that we've seen in the past. And we're putting in yesterday the potential for a reversal. We had a large sell-off in lumber futures at the highs, large engulfing. So pattern here is very indicative of a reversal. If we look how they perform in the past, we see that lumber likes to make these large extended moves, put in a topping structure, and then pretty much give about anywhere from half to 70% back. Large move up, large move down. So lumber is one that if you're able to capture waves, you're able to capture large upside and potentially large downside. And for this one, we do have some simple stocks and names that you can look at. Things like HD, which have been on that similar upward move with almost no pullback, finally starting to put in the potential for consolidation, or at the very least a pullback to the 20, some sort of normal pullback on the daily, which we haven't seen in quite a while. Lows, very similar, starting to pull back down. We'll see how far this goes, and obviously facilitative of some of the lumber futures. If those sharply sell off, we'd expect this one maybe to also have a sharper pullback. And then even something like lumber liquidators, holding notably weaker than stuff like HD and LOW, but holding against the 200 and a strong breakthrough of the 200 on yesterday's session. So if you're using these futures as sort of a gauge to correlate to an equity that trades with a similar correlation, you can find setups like these, and as the future starts to pull back or starts to break out, the stock should perform in a quote-unquote similar manner with different setups and risk-reward potential. So liking lumber for that pullback. I think it's gone a little bit too far too fast, and we've noted that lumber has a structure that allows for deeper pullbacks. So that's something you also want to take in note. just because it's putting in the reversal, you want to see how it reverses and use past history to gauge that. So that's pretty much all I have for today's session. I do want to note that things like Netflix did report their earnings yesterday. It's going to be on our watch list today. It's within our Gappers scanner. And Netflix did have a negative reaction to earnings, coming down from about 550, hitting, I think, a low of about 480 to 485 in after hours before seeing a little bit of a pullback. If we go to our calendar and we look at things like a NASDAQ 100, which is the filter I have applied currently, I'll just show that here, NASDAQ 100. We see that Netflix, CSX, which is a industrial railroad, iSurgical, they did their earnings yesterday. Stocks like ASML, LRCX are reporting today. And then Biogen, Intel, and VeriSign are coming out on Thursday. So we have a couple more small names in the NASDAQ. I think Intel is one to watch for semiconductor correlation. And then BIIB, sort of a large mover. Definitely want to be careful on this one. It tends to have a pretty wide spread in the intraday sessions. But NASDAQ earnings, we come to XLC. Keep in mind where the NASDAQ actually, or sorry, keep in mind where the Netflix earnings are correlated to. Technically, Netflix is a quote unquote tech stock, but it exists inside of the communication sector. So this is much more closely correlated to stocks like Facebook and Google than it is to stocks like Apple and Microsoft. I'll be looking to communication with a negative reaction on Netflix. There may be some opportunity in Facebook and Google as the reaction there might correlate, and then potentially more run up into their respective earnings. So, overall, it's just adding additional volatility to stocks that we trade intraday overall. And then, for those curious, Netflix comprising about 5% of XLC, with Google and Facebook being much larger holdings. So it's just a larger market cap name that finally came up with its earnings. So that's pretty much it. I see that I have a couple questions in the chat, so I'll go ahead and answer those. And for now, that's all I have on this Wednesday session. It's been Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. Stay tuned for pre-market prep. We'll start to look at some of these levels, and with earnings season, always be careful putting on risk. Know what's coming out in the next couple of days or weeks. Know how it's correlated to the stock that you're about to trade. And especially if you're trading a stock into earnings, be very careful of the actual earnings report, as it can be a binary event and can either help you or hurt you. It's really 50-50. So take it easy, trade safe, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing well. I hope you're feeling better.
Yes, feeling a lot better. Thank you, and also for everybody sending me those get well messages. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, let's get to it. Here, as you can see, we don't have our trade ideas scanners. My license expired either yesterday or today. I'm not sure when, but we will get that fixed for tomorrow. But for the meantime, today, Norm, you're going to read out to me what's out there.
I will
Um,
read them out for you.
and we could take a look at it that way. Um, let's do this first. Let's get a quick update on what's going on the market for today and the rest of this week.
Yeah, we had some genuine weakness in the SPY yesterday, and sold off for a good portion of the day. This morning we were hanging around even, and now we've started to sell off a little bit. Not surprising. I've mentioned it. We had this pretty solid run from mid to late March all the way through just a few days ago when we hit all-time highs, the 16th or so, just a few trading days ago. So
Yep.
not surprised to see a little bit of a pullback here. We'll see how deep it gets. We've got earnings season going on right now. Some mixed things coming in there. So that having been said, there is no economic data yet again today. 3 days in a row. We'll start getting some tomorrow, and then of course. We've got some big Fed stuff coming up, so that'll also have an impact. But that's where we sit. And yeah, SPY's continuing its sell off as I'm talking, so I might as well shut up.
You got it. All right, guys, let's get to it. All right, let's start with see what we have here on gapping up. Norm, what do you have for us this
I'll
morning?
throw you all four on the gapping up list, and we can
Yep.
go through them one by one. WBT,
Mm-hmm.
OCGN, Bingo, BNGO, and Fisker FSR.
BNGO and
FS, FSR.
FSR. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look here. So starting with WB, guys, is gapping up 21% right now. Looking pretty good. Very active in the pre-market at the moment. Their daily not great. Doesn't get great volume, as you can see here, under 2 million for the most part. So I don't really like the way this daily is showing here, but we are seeing some very impressive volume in the pre-market. Actually, they're trading as much as they trade on a regular basis
Yeah.
right now.
So
So,
this is a buyout, but it is an all stock buyout, so it
mhm.
actually has a chance of some sort of movement.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe it'll do something. Not the best, but yesterday you weren't here. It was a struggle to find anything that was worth a
Mm,
darn. So
yeah.
um, you know,
We'll see how this one plays out. Again, guys, not the best, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that one. OCGN right now getting some great volume, 4.3 million shares traded. It is up 14% right now. Pre-market looking okay, not as clean. You could tell too that this pre-market, what we're used to seeing, how clean the candles form, you're not getting that here now. In the last couple of 40 minutes or so, it is getting better, and probably because you're getting a lot more volume, more consistent volume here. So this could be interesting. They're daily. We've seen this stock before. It's just nasty. It's not a great daily at all. But we had a couple of days here where we had some good pops with volume. So today could be that type of day. We'll keep an eye on it. BNGO bingo here this morning.
I don't see
Yep.
anything fresh on OCGN. By the way, I think that's
Mhm.
primarily a Reddit Wall Street bets move, but maybe there's something else.
Yeah, and that's what's scary sometimes about these. They could be very unpredictable when there's not some kind of catalyst behind something.
Yeah.
BNGO here, guys. This one's looking pretty good in the pre-market. 465. Just started to get going around 8 a.m. this morning. Now this one has an okay daily. Yeah, it might be worth keeping an eye on it. We'll keep it on here. FSR. Now we had some really good trading on FSR in the past. So hopefully that can. Looks like yesterday it had some action here, gapped up for the most part, and then sold off. Was that clean yesterday, Norm?
Yeah, it got an upgrade yesterday out of B of A. I believe it had a $31 price target on it. So that was the catalyst yesterday. I think today's just a little bit of a hangover from yesterday.
Gotcha. All right, so maybe a second opportunity for it to do
Maybe.
something today. We'll keep it on there. All right, what else we have?
All right, gapping down. You ready? We've got
Yep.
a little bit of a bigger list, but not too bad. Netflix at NFLX,
Mm-hmm.
Mara, Riot,
Okay.
FCell, Can,
KM.
Can, CAN,
Oh, yep.
And then I actually had them turn off your TI so I could say F you to you.
Love
Oxy
it. Yep, yep.
and Fubo.
Fubo. All right, so a lot in the red this morning. Some pretty good names too going off this list here. All right, Netflix. Wow, Netflix earnings on Netflix. Ooh,
Yep. They had
ooh, ooh,
earnings
ooh.
last night, and their earnings actually, their numbers weren't bad. The problem was subscriber growth.
Hmm.
I think we all know that they pulled forward a ton of subscribers last year with COVID, people being stuck at home, no movies to go to. So a lot of people that weren't Netflix subscribers, I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that this morning, got memberships last year, subscriptions last year to this. People are concerned that they're kind of at peak subscriber right now. So that's what's killing them this morning.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. We'll definitely keep it on here, guys. Down 9%. It's quite a lot, quite a big drop for them. But again, if you look at how busy they have been, especially last year, it's not all that bad. But again, 9% down this morning. We'll see how this trades. Again, not the easiest stock to trade, but that's a big drop for them today. Here's Mara. So a lot of Bitcoin stock here. We can see Mara, Riot, and CAN all sitting on that Bitcoin. And it looks like they're dropping down today some here. So Mara down 5.2, 386. Riot is down 4%, 361. Who has the better pre-market action here? They don't look great as far as pre-market action. And pretty much getting beat up here the last couple of weeks into April. They had a nice run, but again, now they're just kind of slamming down here. I'm trying to figure out which was the best one to watch. Probably Mara. They seem to have a slightly better pre-market action, so we can keep the rest on impossible for now. But I'm gonna move Mara up here. And for the most part, I think, again, and this is just based on me watching Mara, when it sells down a lot cleaner than what it does when it's pushing higher. So it's just funny like that. Their price action usually pretty funky, but when they're selling down, it tends to be a little more cleaner. I'm gonna keep Riot. CAN doesn't seem like it's doing a whole lot. I do like their daily though, slamming down here at. It seems trying to hold this area of support, but I don't want to be just fully loaded on Bitcoin here. So we'll keep Mara and Riot as possible for now. Here's Fuel Cell. Fuel Cell just continues to have a hard time here. They're down 4.3 this morning, 306,000 shares traded. Doesn't look like a whole lot going on right now. Maybe we'll keep it right on there as possible for now. FU2U, this one is 1.2 million right now. Again, decent pre-market actions, got some volume on it. Again, I don't know if this is really tradable. We'll keep it as a possible for now. Here's Oxy. Oxy's on the move. Any news on Oxy this morning?
You know what? Oxy was not on there earlier when I pulled up my list. So
okay. Yeah,
let me take a quick peek. I think it's just oil prices.
It is.
But don't hold me to that. But I think that's
yeah. Volume is a little bit lighter than what
oil.
we want to see.
Oil's down like 2.5% this morning, so hitting them a little bit.
So that could be interesting. Volume is not as great, only 124,000, but that could pick up. I do like this drop I'm seeing here. Looks like yesterday too they had a nice drop there, traded well in after the bell. So not a great pre-market action, but look after the bell here. This traded pretty clean again without seeing how the actual price action was. Yeah, let's keep that one. I think that looks good. And then we have let's get rid of Oxy from here. We have on our main list Fubo this morning. We traded this one in the past. It has traded well in the past before. Today they are down 2.2, but I'm not seeing nothing great out of this one. And this one trades heavy on volume. 134,000 shares traded with this pre-market action is not really inviting for us to keep on here. So I'm going to get rid of it, guys. If it gets better, throw it back out to me. All right, Norm, what do you like this morning so far?
I'm still looking around, man. It yesterday didn't look great. This morning looks a little bit better, but not much. So let's throw it to the room and see if anybody has any surprises.
All right, excellent. All right, guys, let's start with David S. Oxy. Yes, Oxy is on is on deck, so that one looks interesting. David from Connecticut is giving us NCLH. Let's take a look there. And NCLH. All right, here we go. They are not doing a whole lot right now. Only up 1.2, 328,000 shares traded, but they got an upgrade to buy. So that could be interesting. Yeah, we could put it as a possible for now. Let's see if that does anything later down the line. So NCLH as a possible upgrade play here. Plug Plug. I mean, these stocks, what's going on? Well, they didn't sell down too much yesterday, but the last couple of weeks, these stocks are just getting just hammered, guys. I mean, down another 1.5, which doesn't seem like a lot compared to how much they've been dropping. 173,000 shares traded right now. They don't have a whole lot of pre-market action, but Dave, I see what you're looking at. This daily does look interesting. They're trying to find some kind of base here, some kind of support somewhere. But every time they do that, they seem to just drop lower. So that could be interesting. Maybe more so possible. I do like Plug when it is in play. It can trade very, very clean and very well. So I like that one there. All right, let's head back up here. What do we have? CCL. Let's take a look at the CCL doing anything. I don't see it in play. I know NCLH, as David mentioned, has an upgrade. That could be interesting, but if there's nothing going on in CCL, I don't see great volume right now on this one. So I'm going to pass for it for now. Let's take a look at American Airlines and some of our travel companies here. So American Airlines, oops, let's get that right. There it is. All right, American Airlines right now, we are, again, pretty much flat, no volume. Their daily has been very interesting, as you can see, just coming down here, trying to find some kind of support, which we have found around 2037. But again, I just don't think they're in play right now. So if the market starts to drop, if we see some movement in that sense, then all these stocks, they kind of follow it a little bit. As we see yesterday, we had a sell-off and looks like American Airlines did follow that. So we'll have to see. We'll have to keep a close eye on the SPY and the overall market. But right now, I'm not seeing anything specifically to American Airlines at the moment. So we'll skip on down for now. All right, heading down, we do have BNGO. We did look at. We kept that one on there. We did look at OCGN. That one is on there as well. FU2U. You know what? It's on here. I'm gonna watch this one closer today because it's always gapping up or down. Let's see. I'm gonna watch it closely. Let's see if we can get something out of that. I always dismiss it right away, but it's always on here. So I want to see what takes place there. Here's Apple. Apple this morning, they are down pretty much flat. Not down a whole lot. It's pretty much flat, down 0.5%. 463,000 shares traded. And again, this is one that you can keep an eye on all the time on your list. Again, if the market's moving one way or the other, this can very well be a good one to watch. It had a beautiful run over the last month. Look at this here, guys, just nicely. So yeah, Apple's a good one to just always keep on your watch list. All right, what else, guys? We have American Airlines. We looked at CCIV is down. Let's take a look. CCIV this morning, they're just 1%. Not a whole lot going on. Volume is slight too. So, and pre-market is not great on this one, so I don't like it. Let's skip on that one. Netflix we do have. All right, things is looking pretty good there. Let's take a look over on our YouTube chat. What do we have over here, guys? Let's take a look. CCIV. Yeah, I have that one up right now. They're down 1%. But I'm not seeing anything great on the pre-market, though. So 2 people mentioned that already. I'm not seeing anything on there. SKLZ, let's see here. Pre-market action of 56,000 shares traded. Daily is interesting, just getting slammed here the last couple of weeks, really. Pre-market's okay. I mean, I'm not sure about this one. Let's put as a possible. We'll come back to it. Let's see how the volume continues to flow in on this one. They got great volume right now, 556. That volume is not trading all that clean in the pre-market. We have 155 just slamming right down here. Let's see. Let's see how that goes. Again, very, very extended towards the downside, though. The daily is nothing but red candles. Got a couple of green in here, but for the most part, it's just been getting.
I'll say skills trades very lightly generally, and it used to, it's picked up a little bit. Still not super easy to trade though.
Oh yeah, I think I never traded this one, so yeah, thanks for that info. So yeah, let's be mindful of that. I'll keep it here, but I'll be mindful of that as well. All right, so
just make sure you've got volume and order flow that's clean. That would be all I would say.
Yep, that makes perfect sense here. EBET, no, guys, this is a recent IPO. Looks like, yeah, recent IPO, but right now pre-market's not doing a whole lot. I mean, look at the range on this the last couple of days. So pretty wild there. Interesting, it is holding above their IPO price here. So that could be interesting. Maybe there's a pop coming, but again, look at this pre-market action and everything else. I'm not seeing nothing great here. KO traded well yesterday. Let's see, KO. It looks okay. KO could be difficult to trade, but this looks all right for KO. Not bad. Again, they're not the best intraday trading stock. I don't see much going on this morning. They're pretty flat right now with no volume, but this could be typical KO. If there's some kind of news on this, it can get going. Because look at it yesterday, right? Yesterday had nothing going on.
They had earnings a
pop.
couple of days ago.
Okay.
But I don't know if they've got something this morning. I haven't looked them up. They don't. It's just not a great one to intraday trade again.
Yeah, so this makes sense. They had earnings yesterday. That's what this pop is for.
I think it was 2 days ago.
Okay. All right. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna keep this one off. We'll keep it on the scanners if it pops up, but for the most part, I'm not seeing anything great there. All right, guys. Let's take a look at a few more. What's the time? 8:48. We got FNGU. FNGU this morning. I'm concerned with the stocks daily and the overall information we're getting here. Very light on the volume. Yeah, this is a little funky here. So I'll stay away from this. I don't like what I'm seeing here on the daily. It's just all over the place, and you can see the pre-market action. It's just wild. So not sure what kind of stock it is neither. So just be careful on that. Tesla this morning getting some candles in here. They could be interesting, maybe a possible. I mean, Tesla has been, somewhat in play. They've been, bouncing around all over the place. NIO, what's going on with NIO and these other companies? Pretty much flat right now, not doing a whole lot. Again, just they've been getting beat up here. They're trying to find a base here somewhere. NIO's volume is very, very light. They're really not in play this morning, so we'll skip on that one. Let's take a look at Space. I know they were getting hammered as well. They are down 1% again this morning. Let's take a look at the right. Oh no, sorry, that's NIO's down 1%. Let's look at Space SPCE. They're almost down 1%, but pre-market action is not showing anything great. No volume right now. We had a couple of really good days here that gapped down. He had a nice run towards the bottom, trying to find some kind of support here on the Space. But right now, I'm not seeing anything great that's putting them in play at the moment. So we'll skip on that. All right, SKU. That's not a ticker. At least it's not coming up for me. SLOR, excuse me. That also is not coming up for me, guys. So I'm not sure. Double check that one. Tesla we did look at. What else do we have? SOS. You asking for help or a stop or a ticker? Let's take a look. Yeah, I see that one on here. I think we looked at this before actually, and it doesn't look like it trades very well. So that's not looking pretty good there. So I'll skip on that one for right now. All right, guys, that is what we have. Let's take a quick recap because we got quite a few in here. So we have WBT looks good. We'll keep that one on there. OCGN could be a good one. BNGO is good. FSR is decent. We'll have to see how that plays out. Mara is okay. Oxy is bouncing back a little bit in Apple. So I think we're gonna have to do some more fine tuning. I think we got an okay list for now. Nothing's popping out and looking really good right now at the moment. Norm, I think you would agree. Nothing's looking great. Yeah. So we'll have to be
I agree.
We'll have to be very cautious with this. All right, let's go over to announcements, guys. We'll fine tune this list when we come back.
All right, guys. Peter's webinar was last night. It was excellent. Should be posted this morning for anybody that missed it. They'll be able to catch that. Then next week, 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. Note the special time because of his location in the world. Eamon's going to be doing his part 2 of his parabolic reversal webinar, so check that out. And then tonight, 8 p.m., we've got Nada, our mindfulness coach, doing her webinar about reevaluating your judgments and stories about who you are to become a better trader. Next week, we've got our own Dr. Katz, 8 p.m. on Wednesday, doing the town hall where he will invite 2 traders from the community, and they'll have a group discussion, a 3-way, if you will, between him and the 2 traders, and the room can watch, interact, and ask questions. If you're looking to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day. It should have entries and exits, of course, and then mark it up with any commentary describing the trade. Post it on Twitter, tag @BearBullTraders, @MikeB_BBT, and @NormBBT. Also use the hashtags BBT Family. Day trading and stock market will pick a winner each day and announce on Twitter later in the day. And then the trades of the week all come from those trades of the day. The team will vote, and that'll be announced on Monday. If you're watching us on YouTube and have not tried out the room, use the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll get you a discount off the intro membership, which is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room, doesn't auto-renew or turn into any other kind of membership. Also gives you access to the onboarding classes that we have each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. with Carlos, Mike, Kyle, and such. And then also, if you're looking to become an annual member, an elite member, use the promo code SPRING40. That'll get you 40% off the elite annual membership.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Norm. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's fine tune this list here. So WBT, normally we would not keep this one on here, but today they seem to have amazing volume. Their pre-market is very active, so definitely staying on deck. OCGN, I think this one has potential, guys. Let's keep it on here. Up 16%. Great volume. Pre-market is starting to get a lot better here as volume is starting to come in. So I like that. BNGO, this could be good. Getting a little nice range here. We're not seeing anything great, so we're gonna be a little bit picky today. FSR, I like the way this one trades. It has traded well in the past before. Let's give it a shot. Mara, I might move this one down. Actually, I might move. Let's make some room here. Let's move maybe OCGN. Maybe Mara. Maybe we'll move Mara down. Move Mara down here again. They don't look bad, but I know it can be funky at times. Their price action 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this is good enough. Apple, Oxy is interesting, getting a little bit of a bounce. So all right, let's do some levels.
So I do want to mention, and somebody said OCGN has a great catalyst. I had not seen it yet. I had not seen the news. Somehow I didn't find it. But that's on some COVID vaccine stuff. So they actually have a good catalyst. I was worried about that. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but thank you for, who was that up here? Lydia, thank you very much.
Lydia, yes, thank you, Lydia. Always very active in the chat. We appreciate that. Rodrigo is saying, isn't WBT a buyout? Yes, it is, but Norm did mention it is all stock, or what is it?
Yeah, it's an all stock buyout. So a cash buyout, 99% of the time is untradeable. It's just going to go to a level and sit there. A stock buyout can act differently. It's going to go to that level, but it can move then with the corresponding stock that's acquiring it is going to move, since it's then tied to that price. So, yeah,
that makes perfect
not
sense.
the best. I mean, it's not a 10 out of 10. Don't give me that, but it's not a 0 like a cash buyout is.
Exactly. And usually when you see a buyout, you get this pop, right? It just kind of goes flat a little bit. You're starting to see here that you have some range being built here. So you can tell it's not the same usual buyout where things don't trade very well. One last one. Someone's mentioning here. Nate is mentioning IBKR. No.
Doesn't trade well.
It doesn't trade well. And you got nothing going on today. All right, so WBT, guys, let's do levels for this one. High of the pre-market all the way at 2013 this morning, so we'll throw a level there. Towards the bottom, the low of the pre-market slamming down around 1727. So we'll put a level there. A great area of resistance in the past, now becoming that hopefully a nice support. All right, what do we have here? All-time highs already? What's going on here? WBT, maybe. Oh, no. We have some stuff over here. All right, so going back to the left here a little bit, you can see some levels on the daily, which is not great. It's not a great daily, but you do have a couple of touches right around here, 1853. So I'm going to put that there. I know that's pretty hard to see for you guys on the screen there, but 1853, if you draw a line there, you're going to find a good area of resistance and support right on there. I want to get something above 2013 here. And if we go back, we're going back now to 2018. Let's see what we have here. Some of these levels already, pre-market highs and lows, play very well with this daily, right? So obviously whoever is trading here already went back and saw some levels where they want to take profit or get in a trade here. 1934 is a good one. All the way up here, this is a good one too here. 2098 could almost be 21, but you can see here there's support and resistance you're getting there. That is real nice. So I think we got a couple of good levels towards the top here. You can go crazy, and definitely this is a level here, 2217, great area of support, and then great resistance. 1, 2, 3, couple of 10 days couldn't get above that 2217 before they came slamming down there. So we got some pretty good levels towards the top there. Let's see how this thing is going to play out. Again, not the best type looking stock, but they have a good pre-market action this morning. Hopefully that can turn into something. OCGN today, high of the pre-market sitting at 667. We'll throw a level there. Above that, we do have a level up here around 746. In between here, guys, you don't have the best dailies, not as clean. We'll do the best to get some clean levels off of this, but you do have 746 up there. Above this, you have another wick all the way up 823, so that's good. Towards the bottom, you really have the highs and lows of the last two trading days, so I don't think you need to add anything more in here really. So I think you're pretty much set up with that. Heading down to BNGO this morning, high of the pre-market slightly above the highs from 2 days ago at 574. So we'll throw a level there towards the bottom. You got plenty here, guys. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, previous day close. I think you're pretty much covered there. So anything below this, you got to go back into the beginning of the year, maybe right here around 402. But again, not the best daily in here anyway. So now towards the top, because this thing is a little bit strong today, up 3.2 at the moment. Above the highs from the last 2 trading days, which would be this one here. This would have been yesterday. You do have another level right over here around 642. Great area of resistance and support. Just throw that one on there, and we'll see if this thing is going to break out today. So pre-market, not great, guys. I wish it would keep pushing up against this 574 and break out of this. That would be nice for a nice run. Let's see if that continues to get better as we push forward in the pre-market here. Now here we have FSR. FSR could put in some good days. We've seen it do that. They're pre-market action though, man. I'm putting it on here because I know they can trade very well because we've seen it before, but their pre-market action is atrocious. I mean, this is not looking good. High of the pre-market 1377. The last 2 trading days got you covered here with the highs and lows. Previous day close as well towards the bottom. So I think you're good there. Your low of your pre-market is basically the high of 2 days ago, slightly above that. So you think you're good there. I think you're pretty much set. I don't want to add too many levels on here. Maybe this one here, 1429. You got some support happening here. 1425, right? Area of resistance as well. Maybe that could be interesting, but for the most part, this might become impossible. Let's see. Let's keep an eye on it. Here's Oxy. Oxy getting some good movement in the pre-market with low volume. 2257 is the low of the pre-market at the moment. If we scroll to the left over here, we do have some daily levels we can pick off. Coming down here over at 2168. That's a good one here. A couple of days touching up against that one. And then towards the bottom, you do have a couple of wicks down here as well. Around 20 or so, you got a couple of areas opening and closing there. Also some wicks on here as well, acting as a great support. So that could be a good one. Now that's what we have on Oxy. Towards the top, highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, you're pretty much covered here. We're coming back down to slam against this 2257. So this could be interesting today. Here's Apple. Apple just been a beautiful consolidation on Apple, guys. Just look at this ping pong action here. We're getting between 131 and 135. That's the bigger range. The smaller range is still that 135 down to that previous day close, right? We've been just going back and forth here. So this is nice. Usually when we see this, hopefully the stock is strong and continue to break out of here into some of these upper levels. So we'll have to see. But Apple trading very nice the few times that we had it on our watch list. Pre-market action is a little bit quiet, only 538. We've seen more than that recently. We'll see. This is a good one to keep an eye on. If the market starts trending one way or the other, this is a nice one to always go to. You're going to get filled immediately. The spread is always amazing. I don't think I've ever seen Apple with a spread higher than 5 cents. Rarely do we see something like that, right? So the liquidity is there. It trades very, very clean. It's a good one to have on deck. So I'm putting here 30.66 towards the bottom and also 28.94 towards the bottom, and then towards the top, you got plenty highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. If we were to have a good day and break out of some of these levels, 37.89 could be a good area of resistance right over here as well. It could be a good target. All right, that is what we have, guys. Let's take a look at our moderators list, what they have this morning. Just a few on here. Let's see. Let's bring this over. Oh, there we go. Okay. Here we go. All right, so here's what we have. We're running a little bit early today because we did not review the stocks from yesterday because I don't know what traded yesterday. And with that said, shout out to Peter for covering yesterday in last minute there. So that's always appreciated. So here's the list. We have Dima. She likes OCGN, WBT, BNGO, FSR. Mike is looking at Apple and Tesla for a break of high. Peter, IPOs for today, PAF, DB, SKYT, and NPCE. And John is looking at his break of high of day as well. Netflix, FU2U, and also Facebook as well on his list. So we'll wait for the other moderators to come out with their list. Well, here's Peter with his list. He's looking at OCGN, AMD, Apple, VZ, WBT, and Futu. Actually, we call it Futu as well. So there we go. All right, so
it's very nice of you.
Yeah, we'll call it Futu. I mean, yeah, I think that could work. All right, guys, that is what we have. let's take a look here. We'll wait for other moderators to come out with their list. Norm, is there anything that you have on your list that maybe is not on ours, or
No, I'm still
pretty
looking,
much?
man.
Yeah, cool.
Still looking.
All right, very good, very good. All right, so in the meantime, let's show you guys what else we have here. Do you have any questions? Any questions that we can answer from anybody at this time? Again, we're early because we didn't recap yesterday's list, but that's okay. Thoughts on NEE? Let's take a look here. We had this one before. It looks funky, man. I wouldn't trade this. I mean, again, you don't have to do what I do, but I don't like the way the daily does here. The spread at times could be brutal. We had this on our list before, and it just wasn't good. So be careful with this one. Right now, only 35,000 shares traded. It is down 2%, and it is exciting, right, to see a stock move $3, $5, $6 in a matter of minutes, right? You want to be in the right side of that trade, but at the same time, can you find your strategy on a stock like this that doesn't have the great liquidity? Can you find a way to trade it properly? So that's what it comes down to. And when I see a stock like this doesn't get great volume and you're moving between $5, $6, it's a little scary to be involved with something like that. So that's just my opinion on this one. I could be completely wrong, and this thing could take off and have a great trading day. But if you are going to watch this one, just be very, very careful. All right, so that's just our thoughts on that. All right, we got more moderators watch list coming out. We have Thor. He's watching Netflix, WBT, and he spelled out FUTU on here, MO, and also OCGN as well. Jared is looking at Netflix, Oxy, and also some possible BTC names for a bounce. Yeah, BTC, I mean, this is taking a huge hit. They're very extended towards the bottom. Mara, and we had another one here. We have Mara, we have CAN. We took off CAN, we kept Riot. Mara's looking interesting though. It is getting okay. We might look at that one a little bit closer. All right, let's
Got
see
a couple
else.
of questions on YouTube here.
Yeah.
Hater Hassan saying he has a 27-cent spread on Apple. Why is that? I don't know. I wonder if it's your platform. You're not getting all the data. That would have to be my guess, because I just looked at Apple right when you posted that, and I've had like a 2-3 cent spread at most. Boo Yasi is asking OCGN good time to enter today. It's going to depend on how it trades. Can't point out a time right now.
Yeah.
Neo has very little volume this morning compared to when it's in play. The chart looks choppy to me. I would stay away from it personally, but who knows? Colton, generally don't trade buyouts. What makes an all stock buyout tradable versus most? So like I mentioned, when you have an all cash buyout, the price is essentially just set in stone at that, unless there's some kind of a bidding war, or maybe the shareholders of the company being acquired are going to ask for more and think they can get more, which is kind of rare. And usually that doesn't trade that well to begin with, but that's all cash. When you have an all stock, once that's pegged to a certain number as far as how much the company's buying out, those two, I mean, they're getting, 1.367 shares of company A for every share of company B. So they're directly tied to each other, and how that other company trades after that is gonna determine some of the movement. So it has the potential to move.
Yep. Jason's asking what makes a good pre-market versus a bad pre-market. So we go over this in our education center in a lot of detail. But let's take a look, for example, OCGN, right? After 8 a.m., the pre-market action starting to get a lot better. This is good price action here. Why? You're getting volume, and look at the way the candles are forming, right? You're getting kind of this ABCD pattern. You're getting a range. So that means people are interested in this stock. And look at the volume, 10 million. Before 8 a.m., look how choppy this looks, right? Now you were getting volume, but it's not as clean as after 8 a.m. So what you want to see is in the pre-market, you want to look for three things. You want to see great volume. You want to see a clean price action. And if you can have a catalyst, great, right? That makes that's like the trifecta there. That's what you want to look at. And you also want to have a good daily, right? Because a daily also can determine how you're going to set up your levels, so you can plan your risk to reward type of strategy. So that's what we're looking for. Again, in our education center, we go into in a lot more detail. But that's kind of the gist of what we're looking for here. Edward's asking, why is the volume so low? I didn't trade yesterday. To me, it feels like the volume is suddenly dropped. It could be.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could tell you. It's been, I mean, it's been, the last 2 days have been a little funky. Yeah, 2 days ago, decent market. Yesterday, it was there was some strange stuff going on, and this morning, not quite as bad as yesterday, but not great. So I don't know what to attribute that to.
Yeah. There could be too. I mean, the SPY guys. I mean, we are running here. A lot of stuff could be extended, towards the upside. So who knows? But I mean, look at the run we had, right? Things are probably getting a little quiet down till we decide what's next. And we're going to continue this run or not. And again, Jared, I'm sure he touches up on a lot of this in the morning. So that's a great question for him as well, because he knows a lot about the ins and out of what's going on there as far as volume. All right, guys, 9:08. Unless there's any more questions, we will wrap it up now. Again, thank you so much, guys, for joining us over on YouTube. If you have not tried our chat room, please do so. We got a nice discount for you guys. I think we sent the link out already for you guys there. You can join us, and we can do the onboarding class with myself, Mike, and Kyle every Monday at 8 p.m. It is live, so you can come in, ask questions, see what we're all about, and you get access to the chat room for one entire week to see if this environment is right for you. So definitely check that out. Up next is Brian and Andrew. They're going to take us through the open and see what they like this morning so far. Again, just to recap, we have WBT here, which has a great pre-market action. We have OCGN with some amazing volume. Looks like it wants to break the high of the pre-market here. Got a lot of ask on here, so that's good. That's very good. Look at that pile up there. That's nice. That could look like it wants to break any second now. BNGO coming down here. This doesn't look great, so I might replace this for something else. FSR is not looking great neither, guys. Again, I have it here because I know it's traded well in the past. Had amazing volume yesterday. Look at that. 80 million shares traded. Oxy lost this 22.57, so that's interesting. And then we have Apple here as well as a good one to keep an eye on with when the market is trending one way or the other. So take care, guys, over on YouTube. Trade safe, and we will see you tomorrow. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. We really, really appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, take care, guys. Trade safe. If just one thing, if it's like yesterday, be patient. Being patient is part of being a good trader. So if you're not seeing something, just wait for it. You'll eventually get something, maybe.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys.